Hi guys, what's up? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today's video is going to be just a very simple Q&A. A couple of days ago I asked you all on my Instagram stories to ask me a few questions, not necessarily related to fitness but pretty much anything, because I thought it would be fun to do a video like this. So based on the questions that I received on that story, I'm going to be answering some of your questions to the best of my ability. So I hope it's going to be a fun video. If you like it, please be sure to give me a big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and hit the bell notifications button so you never miss a video from me again. Alright, so without further ado, let's get into this video. Okay, so I have all the questions up on my laptop here, mainly because I use my phone to film. So yeah, let's get right into it. So the first question I have is, what is the best time of the day to check one's weight? So if you guys know me, you know that I always advocate checking your weight every single day and then taking like a weekly average to determine week after week whether you're headed in the right direction. Now the reason I say this is because, for example, you weigh yourself today and then 1 month later you weigh yourself again on the same day. It could really show a falsely high or falsely low reading, and that's mainly because we have so many fluctuations going on in our body every single day. So I believe that weighing yourself every day makes you not only less conscious of the number on the scale, because you're so used to seeing these fluctuations and you're like, yeah, it's because of my body water and so many other factors, right? One day you have high fiber, one day you have high sodium, you're going to retain more water, the weight's going to fluctuate. And weight loss is never, or weight gain is never like a linear journey. It's always got its ups and downs. Now coming to what is the best time to weigh to weigh yourself, I would say it would be first thing in the morning. Go to the washroom and step on the scale. And I feel like you need to keep as many variables constant as possible. And if you're used to weighing yourself later on in the evening after having a couple of meals, the reading is not going to be as accurate. So that's why I feel like first thing in the morning, go to the washroom and then step on the scale every single day. Alright, the second question that I have is, how good or bad is 1 cup of black coffee a day because of the caffeine and all? Alright, so honestly, if somebody told me that I couldn't have coffee every day or that coffee is bad for me, wow, I would throw a tantrum. Oh, it's only recently that I've become, so dependent on coffee. I think that's not a very good thing, but I enjoy my cup of coffee in the morning and one in the evening. So 1 cup of black coffee gives you approximately say 40 mg of caffeine, and up to 400 mg of caffeine per day is said to be tolerable for most adults. So 1 cup of black coffee, no problem at all. Go ahead and have 2. Alright, so the third question I have is not fitness related. It's actually one of the very few questions that are not fitness related. But anyway, so the question is, tell us about yours and Tarun's story. So honestly, I would really prefer to have him in the frame if we were to be, talking about how we met and all those things. I'll just summarize it in a couple of lines for you all. So we have known each other since 2014 actually. So he was my senior in college and we both used to play basketball, and that's how we met. But we didn't really interact much with each other until 2-3 years later. So late 2016 is where we really started getting to know each other, hanging out, and the rest is history. Alright, the next question is, can you share the links from where to order dumbbells and resistance bands? Alright, so the resistance band that I use is personally the short one. Wait, let me show you this one. So it's the short, it's more of a hip band, I would say, and it's from Buff Bunny Collection. This is a company based in the US, and I feel like shipping to India, there's a lot of customs and duties, so then I would definitely not recommend going ahead and getting these. But I'm sure you can find a lot of resistance band options on Amazon itself, the long ones and the short ones. I personally have bought one long resistance band from Amazon once, and it turned out to be amazing. I would just say, go ahead, check the reviews before you make a purchase, and make sure that it's returnable just in case the product you have doesn't turn out to be the way you expected. That is for the long ones. When you're buying a hip band like this, a few things that you want to take into consideration is the level of the band. So usually bands come in like a light, medium, and heavy resistance. So if you are like a beginner, then definitely go for light. This is medium honestly, and it's quite heavy. Like I feel like even if you are relatively advanced, if you've been lifting for a few years, medium would be like your go-to band. Heavy would just be way too much, in my opinion. I think these bands are great to sort of include into your leg workouts. I would say Amazon. Let me see if I can find a few good links, and then I'll put them in the description box below. Alright, the next question I have is, how do you manage sticking to your schedule daily, not just workout but also studying or work? Okay, so I am not a superhuman, and I have days where I slip up too. I'm not always, on point with everything that I've scheduled, but personally I am a planner. I have always been a planner. So you must have seen, like in my notebooks also, I'll usually write down, okay, what's the schedule for the day, what are the things I have to complete, and I don't stop at that. I usually also divide my time, like roughly, right? For example, I'll write task 1, this is going to take me about 2 hours, let's say. So I'll put like I'll give myself a buffer time of 30 minutes. So I'll dedicate like 2.5 hours to that. Okay, and then I also do plan out my breaks, so that my brain, I know how my brain works. I know how long I can sort of stay focused at one task before my mind just starts going here and there. So I also do incorporate breaks into my day. So I believe, for myself personally, planning makes it a lot easier for me to hit at least 80 to 90% of the tasks that I've planned for that day. Obviously there are days where I go overboard. I plan like 10 things for myself, and then I don't end up achieving even 5 of them, and that's just because of poor planning. So usually I try to stay practical. I'll write down like 3 or 4 things that I need to achieve that day. For example, when I was studying for NCSF, right, for my fitness certifications, I used to do that after work. So I would dedicate at least an hour to that, religiously 1 hour to that every day after work, and that's how I got that done. And when it comes to my workout, I have been working out for so long, and I personally enjoy it so much that on the days that I don't get to work out, it almost puts me in this bad mood. Like working out is my escape, it's my gateway to happiness, right? So that's why I don't really have to try hard to make sure I get in a workout. I always tell myself that I have learned over time that even in 25 to 30 minutes, you can get an amazing workout in. It's just about, working with what you have. For example, you have a very, you're crunched for time on a certain day because you have a lot to do. And, by the time work ends, some days, I'm sure many of you can relate, work from home stretches to like 9 p.m. at night, beyond 9 p.m. And at this point, I'm just mentally drained, right? So when you're mentally drained, it sort of reflects on your body as well, and you just feel like lying down. But in those moments, just try this, okay? Just get up, just change into your workout clothes, play some amazing music, and just get a 20-minute session in. Because every time I do that, I know that I'm going to feel so good at the end of it. I'm not even kidding. Like, it sounds very cliche, and I keep saying it, but that's mainly because I personally follow it. I practice what I preach, right? So for me, that's how I sort of manage things out. I would say, long story short, planning. Planning is key. Alright, so the next question I have is, what series have I watched? Okay, so I am very bad at keeping up with series, with movies, with TV shows and all this stuff. I usually only watch a series if it's recommended to me by a friend or is just extremely popular. That's when I'll go ahead and watch it. So I remember the very first series that I really religiously watched was How I Met Your Mother. Yeah, I watched that before Friends, and I really liked it, right? Because I had nothing to compare it to. I loved How I Met Your Mother, and once that ended, my friends were like, "Hey, have you watched Friends?" And I'm like, "No, I haven't." And they're like, "Oh my God, how have you not watched Friends? You have to watch Friends. You have to watch Friends." And for me, it's like, to sit there, I don't have the patience to sit and get to know a new set of characters. I don't know. I'm very weird that way. But then I went ahead and I watched Friends, and then I loved it so much. I watched it on repeat. I watched that whole series like 3 times from start to end, and I can still watch it even today. Apart from that, what have I watched? I have watched a few Hindi series. I've watched Special Ops, which I loved. I really loved that. I watched Breathe Into the Shadows recently. Loved that as well. And there was one more that I watched. Wait, let me think. I watched Family Man. I like that as well. So and I also watched The Good Doctor. This is not a Hindi series. It's an English series, but it's based off like a Korean series. Like the original is in Korean, but I watched the English version of it. The Good Doctor. I really like that too. Finished all 3 seasons. waiting for the next one to come up. So yeah, I would say I've watched maybe like 5-6 different shows, and Game of Thrones. Sorry, I've watched Game of Thrones as well. So yeah, I wouldn't say that I've watched a lot of series, but if you guys have any recommendations, then go ahead and comment down below, and then I'll be sure to check it out. Alright, so the next question I have is, please suggest some more vegetarian options for muscle building apart from whey protein. Okay, so I'm guessing you mean more vegetarian sources of protein. So apart from whey, for those of you who don't know, whey is a milk protein. Apart from whey, I would say soy is great. Like, it's a great vegetarian complete protein, which basically means that it has all the essential amino acids in it. So soy protein is one complete protein that vegetarians can turn to. So paneer is one option. You do get protein from things like legumes, grains, vegetables, fruits, all of this, but all these vegetarian sources of protein are usually a bit lower quality proteins. They are not lean, and also they are usually incomplete proteins apart from soy. So these incomplete protein sources sort of complement each other, and then when consumed together, they can turn into like a complete protein source for you. So for example, if you're in an Indian household, you have dal. Dal gives you some protein. You've got rajma. You've got all these. I come from a Marathi household, so I don't know what usar is called in Hindi and all. But like, these sprouts, matki, vatki, all this. So this also has protein, but it's just that when it comes to vegetarian options, it's not lean, so it usually comes with a good amount of fat or a good amount of carbs. So if you are tracking your macros, then you just have to sort of get that balance there. Getting a good amount of protein from a vegetarian diet is not impossible. It's just a little bit tougher to hit, that protein requirement if you don't eat meat. So yeah, I hope that clears your question. You can always go to soy, paneer, legumes, grains, fruits, vegetables. Combine all of that, you will get a good amount of protein. So moving on to the next question. I go cycling after my strength training. Should I have my protein and then go for cycling? No. So it's great that you're doing, your aerobic training after your strength training. That is absolutely crucial, because if you train aerobic first, like if you were to go cycling or running first, and then you were to do strength training, it is going to have a big impact on your performance. So I think this is great, that the fact that you're going for cycling after your strength training is fantastic. You do not need to have your protein before you go cycling. You're just going to feel really bloated and weird. I would say finish your strength training, finish your cycling, and at the end of it, have a proper meal. You don't necessarily just have to chug down like a protein shake. Obviously, if that is more convenient, go ahead and do that. But a post-workout meal would typically comprise of a carb-protein ratio of 3:1. So 3 parts carbs to 1 part protein. I would say go ahead, after you're done cycling, go ahead and enjoy a great meal. Okay guys, so the next question I have is, does alcohol hamper your fitness goals if not taken with chakna and cake? So I think this is a very well-framed question. So there have been numerous studies done on this topic, and almost every single one of them has proven that a moderate consumption of alcohol does not hamper your fitness goals. Now, the question that has been asked has been framed so well, and I think it does cover a very important point, that most social drinkers generally have something on the side to munch on while they're drinking. And because alcohol itself is already relatively high in calories, taking that into account, plus all this, chakna and these chicken wings and fries and all this that generally people have along with their drinks, can very easily put them at a caloric surplus, and that is why they end up gaining weight. It's not because of the alcohol itself. A study came out, done in I think May 2020. It's called the Beer Hit study. So they split their participants into various groups, and the whole study revolves around how moderate consumption of alcohol, whether or not it affects like the positive impacts of HIIT training, high intensity interval training, on these various groups. So at the end of this study, it was determined that a moderate consumption of alcohol did not affect the positive impact of HIIT training on the individuals. So in this particular study, the men consumed 330 ml of the alcoholic beverage at lunch and 330 ml at dinner, and the women consumed 330 ml at dinner only. So that is what I mean by a moderate consumption. Yeah, so I hope this gives you more clarity. Okay, so the next question I have is, during the days you work out late in the evening, when do you have dinner? Okay, so I feel like there is a lot of confusion about this pre-workout, post-workout meal thing. Okay, so for me personally, I enjoy working out in the evenings. I cannot work out in the mornings. I'm just extremely low on energy in the morning. So in the evening, what I do is my pre-workout is almost always oats. So I'll have oats about 1.5 hours prior to my training, and post-workout it's always dinner, because I work out between say 7 to 9:30 p.m. anytime between that, depending on when work ends. So what I do is I work out, I go for a shower, and then straight after that I have my dinner. So yeah, on some days it can get a little late, like if I work out at 9:30, then I'm usually having dinner by 10:30 or so. But on most days I get my workout in by 8:30 p.m. and then by 9:30 I have my dinner. Okay, moving on to the next question. My mom is of the opinion that packet ke oats nahi khana chahiye. How do I convince her? Okay. Now that really depends on why she thinks कि packet के oats नहीं खाने चाहिए. I feel like this question is a little too vague for me to comment on it right now. I don't think there's anything wrong with oats that come in a packet. What I feel is if you are picking oats, then even if they do come in a packet, go for something that's not as processed as, say, these Saffola, masala oats and all of this. I never ever would suggest you go for that. I personally always opt for Quaker oats, which are just instant oats that I can just add hot water to and then it's ready. But obviously you can go ahead and get rolled oats. You can get I think there are quite a few companies that sell loose oats out in the market. You can go ahead and get that. Again, it really depends on where she's coming from, where this question even comes about, and why it's in her head. So I think if I knew what her mindset was, I'd be able to sort of reason with her better. Okay, so we are almost at the end of this video. My second last question is Mumbai or Pune? That's a very good question. So I spent 4 years of my life in Pune because that's where I studied my computer engineering. So I was there for 4 years, and prior to that I've been in Bombay for 4 years, and now I'm back in Bombay. So I would say honestly, Pune has my heart. I remember before moving to Pune, I was like, yaar, Pune kaun jayega? Because I've never been there, right? And I was so like in my comfort zone in Bombay, and I was like, yaar, nahi, I don't want to go to Pune and all. But I can safely say that I have met some of the best people in Pune. The friends that I have made there are people who I am so grateful to have in my life. The experiences I've had in Pune, I think it also comes down to the fact that it was like I was there during like my college days, so it was a great experience going around trying all these eateries. Like, you have no idea how much I miss Pune for things like Durga ki cold coffee. I miss so near my college there was this small little restaurant called Ganache, and I used to go there with my friends. I miss Good Luck Cafe because bun maska, chai, masala omelette was like my pre-workout meal all the time there. Like for me, I really associate Pune with food and the people. Like the people I've met there, I have formed friendships that I know are gonna last me a lifetime. So I am really grateful to Pune for that. Bombay does have a special place in my heart, of course. Bombay is Bombay, but I have to say I'm a little bit more inclined towards Pune than Bombay. Okay guys, so the last question for this Q&A video is, which app or site do you use to log in your calorie count? On Meraki Training, we do have a database in which we can log our nutrition, but because that is accessible only to our clients, I would say for majority of the general population, I've said this so many times, MyFitnessPal has always been my go-to. Like ever since I started this journey, ever since I ever started tracking my food, I have been on MyFitnessPal. It has a free version and a paid version, but in my opinion, the free version is more than good enough for you, especially if you're just starting out. So I have been considering doing a video on MyFitnessPal for a while, so that's going to be coming up soon on my channel, and in that I will really take you through how I track my meals, the various different ways, the tips and tricks that I have with regards to MyFitnessPal. There's quite a lot, so I'm not going to talk too much about it here because I'm going to dedicate one complete video to that. So yeah, answering your question, I would say MyFitnessPal has always been my go-to, even before Meraki Training came up. So that is something that I would recommend to anyone and everyone who's watching this video. Go ahead and download that app. It's going to change your life. It has everything on there, and I mean everything. Like, as a Maharashtrian, I can log in Mugachi Usar and Zunka and Pitla and all of these things on MyFitnessPal. So I honestly, personally, I feel like it's amazing that it has Indian food. It's so inclusive of our cuisine, and that's why it's something that I would recommend to each and every one of you. Alright, so this brings me to the end of this video. I hope you all enjoyed this Q&A. If you did, please be sure to give me a big thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and hit the bell notifications button so you never miss a video from me again. Also, please let me know in the comments below if you would like me to make more of such videos. Maybe we can do a few different types of Q&A. Maybe we can do a girl talk, or if you have any other suggestions, I'd gladly look into them. I had a lot of fun shooting this video. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And that's all for today, guys. I will see you in the next one. Bye!